Hi guys, I'm Shmee, and this evening I wanted to answer a question I've seen you guys asking me an awful lot of times already. Does the McLaren 675LT make flames? Well, if you've been following all of my videos recently, when we were driving with the FF and the LT together, you could briefly see a couple of flames popping out the back of the LT filmed from the FF. Well, tonight I'm going to take the car when it gets a little bit darker, sunset at the moment, out for a little drive and show you a sort of point of view drive, but also show you what's going on behind the car. Because of course now it's done over 1,000 miles, the engine is run in so I can warm it up and take it out for a nice drive and demonstrate how it does it. Now, before we go anywhere, one of the things with this car, of course, in making it lightweight, it's 100 kilos lighter than the 650S, was installing a very clever titanium exhaust system. So the new exhaust tips, these sort of much larger tips where the 12C and 650S had more rectangular shaped ones, and you can glance in and see the pipe through those sort of vents on the rear deck lid. Now, when I got the car, the whole exhaust system was this sort of bronze colour, and because it's titanium, the way it's sort of gone with heat and driving it hard, you can see it sort of turned to a purple dark blue tint, which is all down to sort of chemical reactions and stuff going on as you drive. So not only does it look awesome, I love the purple against the blue. The tips do the same here. You can see on the inside, sorry it's not perfectly clean at the moment, but you can see how it's gone sort of purpley blue around the inside, and the more and more I drive it, it's happening even more. The car is, well, it's changing colour. So you can tell an LT that's been driven well, or driven hard, or done more miles by the colour of the exhaust system. But the purple colour goes really nicely, I think, with my light blue paint, so I'm very, very pleased with that. So I'm going to take the car out for a little drive later on, and I'll try and mount a camera on the back, but I'll also have a camera on the inside, so you can sort of feel what it's like to go out and drive in this. But also, to answer that question that, like I said, I've been being asked a lot of times, does this car make flames? Let's find out. Dark has fallen, so let's go out and take the car for a drive. I've been for a quick run already. Now, cool thing, close the door, let the soft close do its thing. Comfort entry is available, so if you pull that stalk, the steering wheel goes back to where it was before. You have that because of having the bucket seats. It means getting in and out's a lot easier. Slide the seat forwards to the position, foot on the brake, start, stop. So we're fully in life, and as you can see, temperature's already warm, very important before doing anything like this. Lift system is up because I've got to get out of a driveway in front of me that's a little bit awkward. But we're more or less ready to go, and I'm going to sort of take you through what this is like from both a point of view camera inside. Well, I've got a camera here, so you can just experience the drive, set that up so it's pointing nicely. And I've got another camera mounted on the back of the car. So let's swing this around. Can you see me? Not really. I've got another camera mounted right at the back of the car pointing at the exhaust. So I'm going to show you a mixture of clips from those two cameras, and it should be quite cool. If not, you're just going to enjoy the sounds and driving on some nice twisty roads in the McLaren 675LT. Let's go. Automatic handbrake release as well as you start driving away. Now, you probably already know, 675 horsepower. 700 Newton meters of torque, and this thing is a savage animal. First bit of driving, just gentle, full automatic, but I'm going to go to the active dynamics panel and engage that, which I've got preset to take the handling into sport mode, which makes the suspension a little bit stiffer, the steering a little bit more direct, and the powertrain also in sport mode, which means we have no ignition cut. So the exhaust pops and bangs away, and it sounds absolutely phenomenal. So we've got manual paddles. Just start warming the car up gently before we get started properly, but this thing really is absolutely phenomenal. I haven't had an opportunity to take it around a track yet, but some nice mountain roads are not a bad start, as you're going to experience. The one other setting I am going to change is to put the traction control into sport mode, which you can do by one press of the ESC off button. And the reason for that is I'm running P0 tyres on this car, not even P0 Corsas, let alone the standard Trofeo R tyres, and that's because it's winter, and I've already driven the car through some pretty snowy roads as well, so I wanted to be safe, safety first. So I have the normal P0s, and what that means basically is that this car is just too powerful and too light for that tyre configuration. So with that in sport mode, traction lets me have a little bit more play and lets me put down a little bit more power without being held back. Obviously you have to exercise caution when testing out those different settings, but it makes for a more playful drive. Anyway, the car is starting now to warm up a little bit. You can hear a nice little crack there on the shift. Fortunately, four-wheel lifting system to get over that kind of thing. Otherwise, you'd have a little bit of a problem with a carbon fibre front splitter like this car has. Ended off then with a gentle run back to base. Let the car cool down a bit. You can hear the radiators are still going, but obviously when you've been driving quite aggressively, you never want to turn a car straight off. But one of the things I always find interesting is even driving a car like that on the road, you know, the 90 km/h speed limit roads, you can still get a decent run without having to do anything stupid in terms of the law. You're not actually pushing the car anywhere near what it's like going on a track. Driving up to, 90, first, second, third, pushing on a track, you're properly gunning it all the time unless you're braking hard. So I really, really am looking forward to at some point taking this car out and driving on a proper racetrack and experiencing it properly. But driving roads like that is just absolutely heavenly. Now, these two little cameras hold the keys to whether that flamed a lot or not. I don't currently know because I've never followed this car, but I hope it did. One was mounted inside, one was mounted on the back. I'm sure it looked pretty cool either way. Just the noises and crackles and pops and bangs and snaps. It's the loud snaps, you know, you upshift at around 5,000 RPM, then you get the unburnt fuel going through the exhaust while you're still accelerating, then you get that massive, like almost double crack going off behind the car. It sort of grew and developed as the car got used more and more, so I'm sure in the future it's going to do it even more. And then the same in reverse. When you're around 3,500 RPM and you downshift, you get the crack as it goes into the next gear. But not quite as well as when it's upshifting. I guess when it's upshifting, there's fuel flowing through the system, and that triggers that noise. But it's just amazing. I love this car so much. Normally on those kind of roads, it's the GT4 I prefer to drive because it's just a little bit smaller, a little bit more agile. But at night, when the roads are fairly clear, there's nothing really to get in the way, and you've got lights, so obviously you can see if anything's coming. It's fairly safe. I know the road exceptionally well, of course. The LT, it's quite a beast. It's quite an animal. Yeah, I enjoyed that a lot. All I'll say though, obviously respect speed limits. In there, when I'm driving aggressively, the road is a 90 km/h zone. Obviously only drive aggressively when you can see, never drive aggressively, only drive spiritedly when you know it's safe to do so and it's clear to do so. But a lot of fun. I really like that car. Just that's it for that car in Monaco. I'm actually sending it now back to London. Have some more adventures in the UK with it, and like I said, hopefully track time in the not too distant future. But I'll wrap up there. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you saw some cool clips. I'm looking forward to getting inside and seeing them before I upload this video, and I'll catch up with you again very soon. Cheers. Hi Nick, how are you?
Hello, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Hi, nice to see you.
Pretty excited about today. I can see the car over there. Let's go straight inside.